Hey, CBD part 4. This is all about the history of CBD. There's not too much scientific stuff in here, not a lot of technical jargon and all that. So this one should be pretty easy. And if you stay towards the end, I'm going to make you a special offer that you just might not be able to refuse. So anyway, here it is, man. We're going to start with the history of hemp. And we're going to start right there at the beginning. So anyway, hemp may have been the first plant ever cultivated in Taiwan over 12,000 years ago. There's some evidence that hemp was cultivated. And then in ancient China, about 2,900 years ago, it was reported that it had medicinal uses. And the Chinese Emperor Shen Yang, however you say that, I'm not really good with names if you listen to any of these other broadcasts, any of these other podcasts, but he was considered the father of Chinese medicine, and he wrote a book about the he wrote a Chinese medicine book, and he had references to plants and all that in there. And one of the plants was the hemp plant and how to use it for medicine. And then the Romans, whenever they went on their conquest of Africa and around Greece and all that stuff, around the Mediterranean Sea, they found it in many places. Many cultures had cultivated hemp, and they took this Greek physician with them, and he wrote the Materia Medica, and he had about 600 plants listed in there, and one of them was hemp, and how it could be used for medicine. And then then the hemp and cannabis had spread throughout Europe and Africa and Arabia and Egypt and stuff like that. So it spread, and then its uses spread. And then by the 1500s, England required that all their farmers plant some hemp plants. And then whenever the American colonies came, they required all the American colony farmers to plant hemp plant also. And in the United States and those American colonies, they used it for rope, they used it for textiles and clothing, and they used it for medicine also. And then in 1753, hemp was given its scientific name, Cannabis sativa, by a Swedish physician who used it in medicine for gastrointestinal conditions and maladies. And then from there in the 1900s, so it was used for medicine always up until then. Then in the early 1900s, things started to change, and the attitudes towards it changed. And so one guy in particular, Harry Anslinger, he was the founder and first director of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. And he just had a problem with it. He had a problem with hemp. He had a problem with marijuana. He had a problem with all of it. And he was on a mission to get rid of it. And so he just wanted to abolish it all, no matter what, whether it can get you high or not, the male plants, the female plants, he wanted it all gone. And so by 1931, 29 states outlawed it. He lied about it. He didn't use any scientific evidence. And if there was scientific evidence for any good, he ignored it or twisted it around and lied about it. And he started to call it marijuana because it was somehow racist, and people had prejudices and stuff like that. And so they wanted to get rid of it. And then he did like Reefer Madness, and he had other propaganda films also. And then he ended up with an ally, William Randolph Hearst, who was a big newspaper guy, and he had a lot of interest in timber industry and some financial interest in the timber industry, and he didn't want the hemp plant to compete with that for paper. So he also started in his newspapers the propaganda. And then in the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937, that just outlawed it all. So I'm not even sure why they called it a tax act, because they just outlawed it outright. Couldn't sell it, couldn't buy it, couldn't grow it, couldn't do anything with it. But then Dr. Raphael McCollum, I'm just really not good with names, wondered why the cannabis plant, nobody studied it for its intoxicating effects. So he started to study the cannabis plant. And I guess he had to get special license and stuff from the DEA and all that because it was, illegal or whatever. But anyway, he ended up finding and mapping the structure of CBD and THC, and then he became known as the godfather of cannabis science. And then in 1988, the first cannabinoid receptor was found, and that led to the ECS, and then people started to study it some more. Now there are many people studying the effects of the different compounds found in cannabis, sativa, and the hemp plant, and all of that. And they're studying that, and they're coming up with new discoveries all the time. I even read an article that they had over 295 medical uses for the extract from cannabis. So anyway, here's your special offer like I promised you. You go to situpdoggy.com and you get 10% off any CBD purchase, whether it's a balm or tincture or dog treats or whatever. All you have to do is go to Cannabis. All you have to do is type in Cannabis 10, and whenever you check out in the coupon code, and that's good until April 30th, 2020. So just we use Lazarus Naturals. So I've showed them to you before, and you can see some of the products we have online. We have balms, we have tinctures, we have pet treats, all with the Lazarus Naturals in there. Lazarus Naturals we're from Oregon. They do a good job. They're one of the older companies, very well respected and certified and third-party tested to make sure, there's no heavy metals and that kind of stuff in their products, and make sure you get what they say they're giving you. And you get 10% off. They aren't very expensive to begin with, and then you get the 10% off. You're really getting a good deal. So you go to situpdoggy.com, and then you buy whatever you want. And then when you check out, you put in Cannabis 10, and you get 10% off. You're getting a good deal to begin with, and then with the 10% off, you're getting an even better deal. So, we have a lot of people that use the dog treats for arthritis, chronic pain, hip dysplasia, fear of thunderstorms, fireworks, separation anxiety, congestive heart failure, for skin issues. They use it for all kind of stuff, things I wouldn't even think they would use it for. But, now that I study it and figure it out, it kind of does make sense, because the ECS is found in all of 11 physiological systems in your body. So why not use it for whatever ails you and to keep you healthy? So anyway, situpdoggy.com, and then you just buy what you want to buy. No limit. And don't forget, everything's free shipping, no matter what. And it's Cannabis 10 is the coupon code. So I just want to thank you for listening and watching these videos. I'm having fun doing them, and I hope you're learning something. I know to teach is to learn twice, as the old Chinese proverb says. So I'm learning stuff, and I'm teaching stuff, and it's just getting more and more in me. And it's really helping me just be a better person at explaining why people come. So like whenever they come into the store or they go online, you can ask questions and stuff. And I'm really getting better at it. And I just thank you for doing this. And I just want to reward you for sticking through these videos and to get your 10% off with Cannabis 10. All right. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.